What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. How you doing? So this is my 2023 Harley Softail Standard, and what I am going to do with everybody today is show all of the upgrades that I've done so far to the bike. Do a quick walk around here and give you the best tips on what to do when you buy something like this, which is, for me, just a blank canvas. It's an engine and tires. I got it completely stock, and what you can do to it and what my plans were to turn this into my own bike and make it personal. Now, the first thing for me, besides obviously the engine and tires, my show is called Fade to Black. So I wanted a black and chrome theme to the bike. Also, kind of a throwback bike. I didn't want it to be a modern machine. I wanted it to have that feel of the 50s and the 60s and maybe even a little 70s thrown in. All right, so let's start going through everything. And I did all of the work myself. Okay, I'm at the point now where I may need to have somebody help me on the bike. But right now, everything I'm going to show you, I have done. Now, first things first, when you get a bike, especially your first bike like this is my first bike, is get yourself a scissor center stand. And it's the first thing you need to get because it allows you to center the bike so you can work on it. So you can raise it up. You don't have to take the tires off the ground, but it raises it up, it centers it so you can work on the bike on both sides. There's reasons for that directly, and I'll take you through that. Okay, so let's go through some of the changes on the bike. First, standing in the front, oil cooler cover, chrome. All of the bolts on the bike have been covered. One of the first things you want to do, get yourself a bolt cover kit. All of the bolts on this bike, most of them, I should say, have been covered. There are a few extras in here that I haven't gotten to, but basically speaking, all of the bolts have been done. First thing out of the gate that I did, K&N air cleaner. And what I did, this is a stage one, and what I did here is I got a Harley Davidson cover for it that wasn't the cover for this air cleaner. All right, but I like the look of it and I finagled it on and I think it looks really good on the bike. These K&N stage ones come without a cover. Tons of covers out there, but I wanted that throwback look. I didn't want a modern look to the bike. And I thought that really looked good on this. And especially when you step back and look, it's got a real vintage vibe to it. Next, foot pegs. Now, I went with these. First off, black and chrome. These are generic, spring-loaded, okay? And install was much easier than I thought it was gonna be with the springs in there. But big change over stock. Next, I changed the seat. This is a Saddleman solo seat. And a couple of things about this. When you take off your Harley seat, which is, here's my old one here. You flip it over and you notice something. It's plastic. That's the original seat. Also, there's a gap So the old seat fits like this, okay? The new Saddleman covers the gap here. There's like a 3-inch gap where you can see the frame. That is now covered. Next, this is metal. Such a difference and such a solid feel on the bike. It's the overall construction. I don't know what Harley spends on their seats, but probably 25 bucks or something, compared to something like this, which is, you know, a couple of $100, 250 bucks, but the seat is 100% more comfortable. It really grips, and you cover this gap, and it's metal. So the solid feel on the bike totally changes the ride. Huge upgrade right there with the Saddleman. Next, here's another bolt cover. This is a replacement bolt for this for the seat, and really dresses up the bike. Very, very nice, and big change. Something that's simple to do, but it just changes the feel of the bike. Next, bolt covers for the rear axle. That is this side. This is a Harley cover. This is the bolt cover for that side. Again, really changes the feel of the bike. Easy stuff to do, but you just have to get this kind of stuff done. Coming over to this side of the bike, again, look at how the seat looks. And this frame being covered, big deal. It's a really big deal. Adds a lot of comfort to the bike, if you know what I mean, having that extension. Okay, now coming over to this side of the bike. Derby cover. I went with the Empire Derby cover, and it's the only one that I could find that, one, looked like it was a throwback. It's got a real throwback vibe, but it wasn't black, and it didn't have a modern flash to it. So Derby cover. But to change the Derby cover, which is easy to do, but here's the deal. That's why you need the scissor stand, because taking off the Derby cover with the kickstand, all the fluids are going to drain out. So Derby cover, easy change, but you can't do it without a center stand to raise up the bike and level it out. But boy, does it change the overall look on this side of the bike. Also, now you can see all the bolt covers. All right, there's a foot peg, and then I went with this gear foot peg, gear peg, and again, generic, but it matched my bike. I just didn't like the stuff, nothing against Harley, but I just didn't like the vibe of it. I love the vibe of this, and it matches my foot pegs. And here's the deal. Different companies, but simple bolt on, simple pop in. Oh, by the way, Loctite on everything. Don't forget about the Loctite. Okay, so Derby cover, and then a coil cover. And really changes the look of the bike completely. Underneath there is the black plastic coil, and covering that up and making it chrome matches up with everything else on the side of the bike. And as you go through here, you can see all of the bolt covers. Everything is here. All of the bolt covers. All of the bolt covers really changes the look of the bike. So when you look at it from this side, see, there's bolt covers on everything, and the black and chrome with the Derby cover, then you just step back and look at the vibe of the bike on this side. On both sides, but the Derby cover with the coil cover, the bolt covers, the foot pegs, and the seat really changes the bike. All fun stuff to do. Now, big deal on the bike was when I first got it, I wanted a naked bike, and I didn't think about a fairing. I didn't think there was a need for a fairing. You can see what I've got here. I went with the Memphis Shades Cafe. That's a cafe racer, and there's still some bugs on it because I ride this every single day. Look at, yeah, that's from yesterday, by the way. Anyway, so this is a Memphis Shades. Easy to do. You don't need anybody to do this for you, but there are a couple of tricks and tips I can give you with this. This does have the headlight extension in it. I ended up going with the back setting. It kept the headlight flush. That was fine, but it's also the height of it and how it centers in. You're gonna have to take it on and off a couple of times and get it adjusted right. Now, how this goes on the bike is here. Again, it's very easy. So you have these two mounts, okay? And then that's the quick release right here. So you can change, just pops right off, and you can add any other Memphis Shades fairing to your motorcycle. So that's pretty cool. Once these are done, they're done, and you can just change your sides. So I went with the Memphis Shades, and sitting on the bike from here really takes the pressure of the wind off of your chest. And it's not loud, it's not totally visible, but what a difference it makes when riding. Because when I first got the bike and I took it out and the wind hit me, I was like, no, this isn't gonna work. So I shopped around quite a bit, and what I wanted was this, in that it was exactly what I wanted for the bike. So it's got a definite throwback 60s cafe racer vibe to it, and really effective on the wind, and it looks really good. Okay, so other big changes. Got to do this. I got the quad lock with the shock mount. Okay, so that's got the shock mount added to it. Quad lock. Took a lot of finagling to get it exactly where I needed it, but it sits perfect. So the phone is vertical, doesn't block my gauges. Sits right here, it's perfect, it's straight, and it's out of the way, and it sits behind the visor of the fairing, and everything is cool. The windscreen sits right behind it. Next, you gotta have a tool bag. So as you notice on this bike, no, there are no saddlebags. I don't want saddlebags. I don't want anything on the back of the bike. I don't want a sissy bar. I don't want any of that stuff. But you got to have a toolkit. So this is what I did. And I suggest you do the same thing if you go with what I've done here. Is I got a really cheap saddlebag off of Amazon. Width was important because this is a small fairing, so it has to sit there. You've also got the clutch cable, so it couldn't be that round. Also, buckles. You don't want buckles because you've got to get your hands back in here to open it up, right? So I found the right size bag. The straps that it comes with, I threw away, and because those mount this way, won't fit on the bike. These are zip tied in on both sides, which puts it on both sides of the risers underneath. Very simple. Then I took the bag itself and I compressed it with a brick for a couple of days, and I flattened it. This is actually round, but it went when you get it. But if you look now, it's flat. I flattened it out, and it's got these quick release tabs on the top, so I don't have buckles that I have to mess with. And I just pop that, boom, bag pops right open, and in here are my tools. I got a basic tool kit, pliers, crescent wrench, adjustable pliers, screwdrivers, a multi-screwdriver set, rag, and a couple of other things. But in case anything goes down on the road, I've got a tool bag that sits underneath my visor. Nobody sees it. It's on the front fork. My quad lock sits comfortably right in front of it. There's no big deal. And it makes the bike complete. So overall, where I'm sitting right now with the bike, what do I do next? What do I do next? All of the changes that I've shown you, the bolt covers, the seat, the oil ring, the oil cooler cover, the air cleaner, the K&N, all of this is easy. This is stuff that if you are mechanically inclined, just a little bit, you can get all of this done. Was the air cleaner easy? Yeah. Took a while, took a minute, got to get a torque wrench, but I did it myself. And that was the satisfaction of all of this. But now I'm at the stage with this bike that I've got to do a couple of other things that are major. First thing is the exhaust. Now, I want to keep this stage one. I don't want to get into stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, cams and tuning and everything else, a 2-in-1 muffler system, stage 4 air cleaner, by the way, which are big. They stick out, they block. I like the stage 1 because it's flush and it doesn't interfere with my legs. But getting anything bigger involves a lot of things. So I'm gonna go probably next, I'm gonna go with some slip-ons. I live in California, I deal with carb, and slip-ons is an issue here in California. So I have the feeling I'm gonna be driving out of state. I'm gonna pick up some slip-ons and get those going. I'm looking at the S&S Slash cut, which I really like, but there are a lot of good slip-ons out there. I'm zeroing in on the S&S, so that's probably going to be the next thing that I do. Also, next up on the bike is going to be the bars. I'm gonna change the bars. And I've always wanted to change the bars since I first got the bike. It was my first intention, but finding lower, I'm going lower, not higher. Here's my hand position. I want the hand position to be here. All right, now to do that seems simple. It seems like you would be able to buy this identical bar that's just a little lower and comes across, and I would be happy with that. Well, that doesn't exist on the market, but I can get a moto bar. And the moto bar sits much lower, which I'm actually okay with. I don't want a drag bar, but most people that have the moto bars add a riser, 6-inch riser, 8-inch riser. I don't want a riser. I want to keep everything just the way it is and just have my position go from here to here, maybe a little lower. But even if it was an inch and a half lower, I would be happy with that. But the riser is the issue. So I'm stuck with this. I'm getting advice from different mechanics out there on what to do about that. I like the riding position on the bike. I do. It's just a little too high for me. I'm 6 foot tall. I just want it a little bit lower. I don't want it higher and I don't want them pulled back. So that's the next move, is the handlebars and of course the slip-ons and the exhaust. Slip-ons are going to keep me in stage 1. I don't have to retune the bike or calibrate anything. And I'm happy with the horsepower on the bike. I'm happy with the performance of the bike. I don't need anything else from it. It's stripped down. There's nothing adding weight to the bike. So I don't need any more torque or horsepower. I just want to change the sound of it just a little bit. I'm happy with the sound, but I want a little more Harley out of it. So slip-ons are going to do that. And I just want to lower these bars to change my riding position, and also dropping this an inch and a half is going to put me a little bit more behind the fairing, which will help out too as well. So there you go. That's everything I've done to the bike. Oh, I may do the rims and tires. That would be later on in the summer. But right now I'm just happy with the way it looks. By the way, it's a he, it's not a she. His name is Ingve. So this is Ingve. And like the black and chrome, you can put comments down. I just like the black and chrome. I'm not going too chrome. I'm not going too black. No, it's gonna fade to black. It's chrome and black. You can do all of these changes yourself. Jimmy Church, fade to black. I hope you enjoyed this. It's all simple to do. Get yourself that scissor stand.